Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with Magdalena Bonnelly. She's the founder of Event Strategies, a wonderful story of entrepreneurship, making decisions, reinventing yourself. Enjoy my conversation with Magdalena. Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meeting podcast. And today, I am extremely happy to speak with a fellow entrepreneur. She is the founder and president of Event Strategies. She's been volunteering in the industry, working in corporate America, working all over the world. And I'm sure we're going to learn a lot from her experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Magdalena Bonnelly from Event Strategy. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Eric, so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you today and chat with you a little bit about the business of meetings.
Exactly. And thank you for taking the time. We have actually very similar journey and education from what I saw on LinkedIn. But I'm really and especially happy to speak with you because of your journey. I'm sure is going to inspire a lot of the people in our industry, a lot of women who are thinking of starting their own business, and a lot of entrepreneurs in general that are wondering corporate America, being an entrepreneur. But before we get there, what's your story?
What is my story? Oh my gosh. Well, let me start not necessarily from like the early days, but somewhere in the middle. Originally, I'm from Poland. I was born and raised in Poland for 21 years. And then on my 21st birthday, after I graduated from college in Poland, I got a ticket to come to the United States. So I landed in Dallas, Texas, straight from Poland on July 20th, 2001. It's been a while. I cannot even imagine that I'm saying that I have been in the United States for all those years. And then as we all know, 2001 has been a really important year, especially for our industry, since I came here right before 9/11. And let me quickly quit my Outlook so it doesn't beep in my ear here. And that's when, the world changed. I was so early in my days that I really didn't know where will I go next. I came here to visit my uncle, to maybe go to school and maybe make some money as a nanny or somebody helping a family with their kids. That was the goal for first few months. And then I met this wonderful family that literally pushed me towards getting education here. I was still toying with that idea, but they definitely insisted on me going to school and at least earning my associate's degree. So that's what I did. I could only afford college, community college. So I went to Richland College here in Dallas. And there's a wonderful woman there called, her name is M.T. Hickman. And she has a program there. Back then, It was called Travel Exposition and Meeting Management.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I have an associate degree from that program. It was way before online learning. So everything was on campus. I was working full time and I was going to school full time because that was the requirement for me to have my visa extended. A few years later, through being involved in Richland College in the Travel Exposition and Meeting Management program, I got to know organizations like MPI, PCMA, and I became a student member of MPI. And at one of the luncheons, I was sitting at the table with two ladies from a small boutique hotel here in Dallas. And I was expressing an interest in being an intern in a sales office. And they said, that would be great. We can check with our management and let's see if we can get you into our hotel. And
Nice.
A few weeks later, I was an unpaid intern dialing for dollars, phone call after phone call. So many people that hung up on me and told me to never call them again. I know what rejection means. So for all of those business owners who are struggling with that, I hear you and I feel you. I've been there. But that opened up the career for me, which for 18 years I had in a hotel business. I was a catering coordinator. I was a small meetings manager, convention sales manager. Through the years, I worked up positions. I worked up the career, up the ladder. Mm-hmm. And I ended my corporate career as a national sales manager for Caesars Entertainment Corporation out of Las Vegas.
You were based in Las Vegas, or you were still based in Dallas?
I was based in Dallas. My territory was Texas and Oklahoma, parts of Texas. Mm-hmm. And I worked out of my home. And it truly was, a perfect situation for me as I was a new mom, new wife. So it really worked out great for me. But that's what I did for 18 years, is working from Starwood, back when Starwood was still Starwood, yep. Hilton Hotels, Marriott Properties. And then I concluded my corporate career with Caesars Entertainment. And in 2019, in the summer of 2019, I opened up Event Strategies. And that's how my entrepreneur path started, journey, if I may. And it has been an interesting one. Definitely a lot of adventures. I'm not going to lie, I love it.
Awesome. When in 19?
In the summer. I went to Poland for about 5 weeks. I was kind of taking my time to figure out if this is really a path that I want to take. I had conversations with my husband about it. He was, of course, very supportive, which is absolutely amazing, because I cannot even imagine how hard this path is if you do not have that support. So he was supporting of that. And I must say that within the first month, I had 2 clients that I started to work with. And I took some meetings out of my parents' dining room when I was in Poland. And then when I came back, I started the official paperwork. So the actual official date of opening the Event Strategies door is August 6th, 2019. And just as, when I came to United States and 9/11 happened and turned world upside down, I started my company, and then COVID happened. Boom. And turned the world upside down. So
let's back up. I definitely want to come to that for sure. But let's back up a few months before. So your parents in Poland. I'm sure you're the only Polish person who say good morning, you all, after all those years in Dallas. And then you're thinking, okay, when I left Poland, I wanted to study, and then I get into this industry. And then I got the corporate national sales, a very important job. What is going on in your mind at that moment when you're still in corporate America, thinking, okay, what should I do next? Should I stay or should I start my own business? What's going on in your mind at that very moment?
There's a lot of factors that I can talk about. I will start with the first one that was the biggest hurdle for me to jump through. And that has everything to do with my heritage. I was born in communist Poland, where, socialist regime, very strict. My parents both worked government jobs. Anything that was private was seen in Poland back then as evil. Everything was owned by government. So you didn't really have a opportunity to be the entrepreneur that, even if you had ambition to be, you were kind of forced to follow the path that the government had for you. So that was my first hurdle, is not even can I do this, because I've done a lot of things that require courage. But the question for me was, am I allowed to do this? Which is that conditioning from the childhood, Yeah. And it was a lot of work on myself to walk through all those doubts and the question, am I allowed? One thing was so great that I do live in a free country.
Yeah.
now and I can do this, but that mindset somehow needed to be worked on and overcome with some tangible, actionable items. And anything from therapy to talking to other business owners that were maybe came from the same similar background as I did, finding that relation with others and learning from their approach. And then I also did a lot of reading on my own. So that was, I think, the first hurdle for me to overcome. It's my own mindset.
Listen, I'm very grateful you're sharing that. I so much understand what you're saying. And I think it's also very important for any person thinking about starting their business, but any person that is born in America to realize, there's a lot of things to be fixed, like any country in the world. And that's the best country in the world. And it's really the country of freedom and entrepreneurship. And when I'm listening to you, I totally get what you're saying with being conditioned since childhood, looking at your parents and the environment, and then having to overcome that. But nobody would probably think about at first hurdle for you. So well done. And thank you again for sharing that. When you work on you and you pass that hurdle, what are the other obstacle that you had to go over in order for you to start your business? You mentioning that you after a month you already had 2 first customer. How did you get those customer and what is going on in your mind then?
Yes. So the first 2 customers, I reached out to them knowing that I have had previous relationship with them. As I was progressing through my hotel career, they were coming with me. We were always somewhere, somehow working together. And it was just a matter of me reaching out to them, letting them know, hey, this is my new venture. Would still love to stay in touch and, be a part of whatever kind of help you need with meetings and conferences. And it was just a matter of that. And, it was at the same time, as proud as I was of myself for getting those 2 clients, it was also nerve-wracking because, wow, now I'm responsible. Now I really need to deliver, right? Yeah. So that turned out to just be a boogeyman, right? There's that saying that you are your worst enemy. And I have a tendency to, go through different scenarios in my head that not often have a positive outcome because I need to be prepared for the worst case scenario, right? So there was definitely fear of that responsibility, not being able to fall back on corporate policies, on, well, I can't do that because, it wasn't approved by XYZ. I no longer had that. I needed to be accountable for my own actions and mess ups, anything that actually happened. It was me and only me. And that can be scary. However, just as it takes a discipline to work from home, many people face that when COVID happened. It takes the same kind of discipline to be a business owner. And when I realized that that was the case, I was like, well, I can be disciplined. I was a bodybuilder. I did so many things that required discipline. Mm-hmm. One of them also working from home. When working from home was not that popular, and it did require for you to be at your desk, wake up at a certain hour, and not let it go because, I'm working from home and I can just, log in a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's interesting what you're saying about the discipline and also the fact that you're alone at home. Every person that I've been coaching that has started a business, it was always the same thing. It's like, you're coming from corporate America. You have 15 people reporting to you in the past. You can ask for this and for that. And you see people every day. So when you're starting, go out 2 or 3 times a week, at least force yourself. Right? You did CrossFit and bodybuilding, sports, friends, lunch, whatever it is, but just get out of the house and see people. If not, your mental health will be affected as a business owner.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I have scheduled breaks. Before we started recording, we were chatting about one of my dogs that passed away last week, but I have 3 others that need to be walked. And they are ready. Whenever they see me walking in the direction of the leashes, they are ready. So I make sure that I incorporate daily walks and take those breaks, because as you mentioned, going out to people, networking events, all of that is needed. The humans are social, and even meeting you over Zoom, even though we are not in person, as long as I'm enjoying the conversation and it feeds me in some way, why not do this? Preferably always is going out and being outdoors or in another venue, but this will work as well.
Absolutely. Now, I think to work in this industry, you need to be willing to please people and make sure that you're going to do what's needed for them and their company. And B, to your point, always planning for the worst. I was driving my daughter at the airport this morning, and I said, "Have you did this? What about that? What if you go this?" And she said, "Dad, stop stressing me." I said, "Listen, I'm not stressing you. I'm just, that's what I did 20 years. What could go wrong?" And be ready for that. Yeah. Now, with all the scenarios that you were planning in the summer 2019, I'm sure a pandemic was not on your board. So you're starting your business, you have 2 first clients, and then 6 months later, there's a pandemic. What's going on in your mind that moment? What are you thinking?
I remember very clearly that as hotels started to shut down, the site tours were canceled. More and more of those cancellations were coming to my inbox. I just started to really ask myself, universe, whatever you believe in, how can I support my family through this? What can I do? And the answers came. A phone call came from one of my friends who convinced me to start a company with him. And I started another company in the PPE equipment space, where we were able to supply PPE equipment to many hotels, car rental companies, even some government agencies. And we kept that going until market got actually saturated, and it provided a living for me and my family, and for him and for his connections combined. His were on the manufacturing side, mine were on the sales side. Yeah, we were perfect duo to make this happen. But the first 2 weeks, when things really started to shut down, where businesses were shutting down, and there was just overall shock of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I was really, first of all, trying to stay calm and not panic. And then just think about, okay, what can I do? Where can I go? What do I need to learn? What skills do I need to acquire to hopefully survive next few months? And back then we didn't know how long it's all going to take. And when Mark called me and mentioned the PPE equipment, I thought about how I can contribute, and it seemed like I can. And I was a business owner times 2. And we just worked in that company for as long as we could until our businesses picked up and we parted ways. We dissolved the company, and we just felt like, okay, we served the purpose, and now it's time to go back to our regular jobs.
That's awesome. I heard the word pivoting so many times that I personally got sick of it. But obviously, in a situation like that, what else can you do with your skills? And that's exactly what you did. So congratulations for that. Now you're back with Event Strategies. How different are the needs from your customer before COVID and today? And extra skills that you had to learn, or extra services that you had to bring into your company to serve them?
Yes, of course. Before COVID, I did not know anything about virtual meetings. I didn't know that they even existed besides our internal meetings on Zoom or Teams when I was with hotels. I had no idea how to plan a virtual meeting. So, of course, I needed to learn all of that. And where I found really my satisfaction is learning about technology, what kind of virtual platforms out there, how can they benefit my clients, and truly I focused on that. And let me back out here for a moment, that it wasn't my first go-to, right? I needed to kind of sit back, observe what's going to happen with the virtual. And then when the requests started to come in, I was thinking, okay, let me try this. Let me see. I learned a little bit of coding. I learned how to operate different virtual platforms, how they integrate with Zoom or other streaming softwares. I attended as many conferences put on by the virtual platforms as possible, so I would learn and know and network with others. And right now, 80% of my business is virtual moderator, virtual event planner, building out events in particular platforms from scratch, and then assisting the day of the event, making sure that, if it's integrated with Zoom, that everything is set up correctly. If it's not, that all the check marks and the boxes are checked. Yeah. And I love it. It allows me to stay home, where I have a 5-year-old daughter and husband and 3 dogs. So I can...
In that order.
Yes.
I feel for him. With 3 daughters and a wife, I feel for him.
Well, I think that he would feel for you even more, because you are outnumbered. You are definitely outnumbered. Totally. So yes, I think that the virtual aspect is really working for me right now. Mm-hmm. And I must say, I'm not that eager to travel yet, because of the age that my daughter is in, and I want to be here, put her to bed and all of that. But when she gets older, I feel that might change. Yes, that's about it. And then skills. Oh, you asked about skills. So one thing that I really took advantage of is all the free training that different platforms were offering, from Cvent to signing up with the Event Leadership Institute and going through their class, which is virtual event and meeting management. Mm-hmm. And getting certification from them on in that field. So I try to enhance my experience and skills. However, I can tell you that nothing will teach you as much as actually working and doing and being in it, getting your hands dirty. I feel that the biggest upskill was me actually jumping into virtual and learning as I went, from speaker management to the virtual platform itself.
Awesome. And I really, really, really like your attitude and your mindset in everything you're doing, and learning, this thirst for learning and opening new doors for your business and for you. That's absolutely amazing. When you're talking about skills, so you have a business background, you work in corporate America. What are the skills that you wish you would have learned before starting your own business?
Great question, Eric. And I honestly feel that for me, I don't know if before it was business etiquette, but it's not business etiquette. It's more about emotional intelligence. nurturing those soft skills, you can take classes, you can sign up, pay money, but that emotional intelligence comes from within. I feel you need to be seeking it in order for it to stick. So to me, when you would ask my back then boss in 2008, 2009, I would often get a feedback that I come off as rude to clients. And it was because of my accent. And sometimes I would say things in a very short sentences, which some people saw as rude. I was called aggressive, which I sometimes agree with, sometimes I don't. I like the word assertive more, but I was called aggressive before, especially in a sales world. So being able to work on the soft skills, like reading the room, adjusting to the energy of the room, being able to maybe read between the lines, the body language, any kind of nonverbal communication. I feel that that's what gets you further with other people, because ultimately they are people. No matter what kind of market you serve, either B2B or B2C, you're dealing with humans. And with humans come emotions. So I would feel that those are, that's the area where I didn't get much training. I learned the hard way. And I'm still learning. I'm still working on, do I really need to send that email right now when I'm irritated and frustrated? And learning to walk away and take a deep breath and pause and go for a walk versus hitting that send button. I think that those are skills that we all need as business owners, and being able to adjust your own attitude and presence to the environment that you are in. I don't think that's being fake. I think that's a skill of an intelligent person who is ready to accept whatever is coming at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add to that, I don't know if you agree with that, whether it's corporate America or having your own business, it's the ability to listen and to be mentored, to be coached by people that can guide you in those situations.
Yes, being teachable is huge, especially as a business owner. Every day I learn something new, not necessarily about my business, but about myself. And in order for me to not come down on myself with harsh words or some kind of, negative self-talk, I need to be able to tell myself, okay, this is a teaching moment. This was a learning opportunity. Let's make notes. Let's do better next time. And I feel that is super important as a business owner or in any situation.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, you're talking about the soft skills for sure. What else do you see as very important for someone who's starting their own business to think about in terms of skills, sales or marketing or finance, or what do you think? What are your recommendations?
I can just speak to what happened to me. And it took me a while to realize how important marketing is, especially consistent marketing, not just once in a while, but staying consistent with it. And I'm in 4th year of my company. I first taught myself. Now I actually have someone that is helping me with marketing. But I would say that hiring someone that can guide you through at least the first steps of marketing and make it as an investment. I was able to invest money in someone who would help me understand how important, let's say, social media marketing is, and where and how to look at it. For example, I was dead on LinkedIn. I was LinkedIn, that's where my clients are. But then that person told me, well, hold on. All those people on LinkedIn, they most likely have Facebook profiles. And guess what? They are spending more time on Facebook than they do on LinkedIn. So for me, having that distinction, I was thinking, oh my gosh, that's so right. I can send 100 DMs on LinkedIn and I will get zero response. That doesn't mean that I will do that on Facebook, but on Facebook, there is a better chance of the target audience seeing my post. I feel that in marketing is getting somebody who can walk you through those first few steps if you don't know what you're doing. And that was surely me. And, we all sell all the time. We sell ourselves to our spouses. We sell ourselves to the world, how the world wants to see us. We sell ourselves on social media, So selling, I think that if you have a little bit of decency and you can build a good rapport with someone, I think you're good. I don't think you need to have any tricks up your sleeve, because then those come off as sleazy. And again, I learned that the hard way. So sales to me is not that important as much as
I guess
marketing.
It depends on the profile or the character of the person.
Correct. That has definitely impact on it. And I'm not saying that if you have never done sales, don't learn the basics. Please do. Learn, forecasting, learn the more technical side of it, but don't focus on different techniques, because people like doing business
with real ones,
with people who are real, who they really like.
Absolutely.
So I feel that as long as you can build a rapport and be kind and authentic in your approach and really focus on what you can do versus overselling and under delivering, then I think you are in a good shape.
Awesome. Magdalena, thank you so much. I wish we can continue for hours. I have one last question for you.
Go ahead.
When we meet in 1 year with a bottle of champagne, what are we going to celebrate?
Oh my goodness. Definitely some kind of milestone revenue-wise for event strategies. And I'm hoping that also we will be celebrating my project management PMP certification. Those are the two goals. The revenue goal, to be honest with you, I'm kind of scared to set it, because I'm like, well, what if I don't meet it? But I know I need to do it. So
exactly.
I will do that. And a year from now, that number, I would like either to be doubled or, more, at least doubled. And then project management certification. Those are the two goals of mine.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
My pleasure, Eric. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Magdalena, for taking the time speaking with me and sharing your story, which is very inspiring. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to connect with me, please follow me on LinkedIn or join my Facebook group, www.evenbusinessformula.com/group. And if you liked this episode, please share it with your network. Thank you. Bye-bye.